Hi, you guys. I wanted to pop on and talk supermoon manifestations tonight. And since we have more or less wrapped up Rise, I just feel like right now it's more potent to be speaking about this as it is more realistic for the time zone that we're in. We're at that New Year precipice, and I want to start by just easing any sort of, oh gosh, maybe I had a hangover, or oh gosh, maybe I didn't make the right intentions, or oh gosh, I hope this thing works out that I desire. The New Year, in my opinion, stretches from the American New Year all the way to the Chinese New Year, which is February 16th this year. So you have an extra month and a half that normal people don't know that they have. So I want you to just imagine that everything that you quick wrote down on a piece of paper, or you quick stapled into your mind and like decided this was going to be the year of that intention, has time to shift and change. And it's my belief that really in this New Year time zone, it's so masculine and it's so Americanized that it's like, and done, New Year. And that's just not how anything really works, right? It's not like you step over this ethereal line that doesn't exist from 2017 into 2018 and already it's better. And a lot of people have that misconception. And so when things aren't going their way, they then determine that obviously this year is going to suck if it doesn't rule in the first 3 days. So between January 1st and February 16th, you get this extension of energy. And what that means is that you have time to manifest and manufacture and really understand what it is that you're growing. And speaking of growing, let's talk about that. So I have to bring my sidekick in here for this example. Some of you may have met her, my orchid. We're in a relationship. It's real. So this orchid was that. Now, it's been said that when somebody gives you an orchid, what they're really saying is, here, have a plant of death. Because it's almost never that we get to do this, right? They don't usually come back. Or if they do, it's just that you have to have spent a lot of time taking care of it. Well, that's manifestation for you. That is manifestation 101. We don't know when the thing is going to happen. And we don't know how it's going to show up per se. But in the case of the orchid, I don't know why, but I made a pact with myself that I was going to water that thing every single week as I do my other plants, but without expectation. Knowing what I know, which is most people never see the orchid bloom again, I went into it just like, I'm just going to water this thing until I decide I don't. I just didn't have an expectation. But what's interesting is that I knew what it could be. I knew what it could be. So every week that I watered it, I knew its potential. I did not. This is, by the way, this one right here got cut off, but there was an original one that my daughter was so excited she ripped it off. So imagine that hadn't been, look at how exceptional. I could never in my wildest dream have expected that. So I watered this beautiful plant for the last year and a half. Once a week action, consistency, and little to no expectation. That's the secret sauce to manifesting in my mind. It is the actionable step. Some people can plant a seed and it will grow without action. But it's my belief that we need something tangible to do to feel as though we are part of the process. So in that belief, it's my belief, I need the actionable tool. You might be magical, more magical than I am. But I need an action item. So for me, the action item on that manifestation was to water it once a week. And then the secret sauce was to not have an expectation about its time frame, because imagine why most of those orchids don't live, why they don't rebloom, why they don't come back. Because people put an expectation on the time frame. And if I've learned anything from my orchid, it's that we are not in charge of the time frame. We're not responsible for it. We can't control the time frame. It's going to happen as it's meant to. And in this case, this or something better, I mean, really, look, there's another one that's about to bud. I don't know if you can see it on the camera, but it's about to bud. So I'm going to have like 4 and would have had 5. It's the most spectacular thing I've ever seen in my entire life. And to apply this theory to everything that you want, to what you're trying to manufacture and manifest for your new year or your new state of being. Because I don't just see manifestation as stuff. I see manifestation as life. So what do you want your life to feel, I think, is the primary question. How do you want your life to feel in this new year? I think so many people left 2017 not feeling great with this idea that, again, if we cross over this ethereal line into 2018, it better feel good right away because I need it to feel good. But we have to take the actionable steps, the consistent actionable steps to produce some of the result. If I hadn't watered the orchid, it wouldn't have rebloomed. It wouldn't have grown. That's science. It's just science. So in terms of the manifestations as to how you want your life to feel or what it is that you're trying to create in your life, what are the actionable steps that you can take every single day? And then how can you sort of lead it to the back burner and set it there? And what little things can you do around the side? Like as that orchid was doing its thing, I was doing other stuff. It's not like I sat here at my windowsill and was like, do it, do it, do it. I watered it and I walked away. Water, walk away. And just no expectations, but I knew what the outcome could be. Could be. It's better than what I expected. So when you're drawing your manifestation, and I say drawing because I think we're creating these mental prints as to what we want our lives to look like. We want that visual sensation of seeing it, and then we want the physical sensation of feeling it. So in your imagination, take some time to write this story. So if you know it's going to be an orchid, what color is it? What shape is it? How does it feel? What does it look like? How does it make you feel? Okay? And I recognize you're not growing an orchid in your life. You might be growing a business. You might be growing a baby. You might be growing a relationship. You might be growing a career. Whatever it is that you're growing, see the finished product because you want to know what it could be. Could. Not is. Could. This or something better, right? So you want to plant an idea. And then you're going to probably want to water it more than once a week. You might want to water it daily or every hour, but give yourself those baby steps that you can do for it without expectation and with gratitude and with the knowing that at some point in this constant, steady action, that this thing that you're trying to grow will bloom and it will become. So on the supermoon, take some time out, really out, and just, frankly, meditate. Meditate on it. And when I say meditate, I mean visualize. Feel yourself in it. Imagine yourself sitting for 15 minutes in the space of winning the thing that you're after. Imagine feeling energetically in line with this thing that you desire, or this action that you're doing. And when you're done visualizing the end result as it could be, not that it will be, it might be better. Once you're done visualizing that end result, take a minute and start to put the action plan together. And when I say action plan, to make an orchid was to water it once a week. The only way I was going to fail at that was if I was out of town, because I have about 20 plants in my house and I have a schedule and a routine with that. So there was no real fail there. So when you're putting your actionable items and tools together, make them realistic. Some of us have 40 hours a week to dedicate to the thing that we want. And the things that we want usually take longer than we imagine they're going to. A year and a half to grow an orchid was not in my if I were to have created an expectation, I would have wanted to see results, and I would have wanted to see that this thing was working, and I would have wanted it in the dirt, and I would have wanted to know what it was doing, and I wanted to know how it's going to happen if I use my brain. But in my spirit, I just did it without expectation. It was a pact that I made with myself, that I was going to do this thing every day without fail, or every week without fail. So what are some action items that you can do every single week, day, hour without fail, that you can look back and go, oh yeah, I did that. Oh my God, that's why it worked. Okay. Real small, real big, however you want to do it. But those are the tools and tips that I have for you for your supermoon manifestation. Visualize, create an action plan. Visualize, create an action plan, and a doable, actionable action plan. Okay? Happy New Year, you guys. 2018 really is going to be wonderful. And by the way, in January, we have 2 full moons. 2 full moons. This one's a super moon, and the last one is a full moon eclipse. I know. So astrologically, there's a massive shift. So again, 2 full moons in one time period. In terms of the astrological numbers, we're in the number 2, but it's 11. So it's the 1-1, which is the angelic number, but you add those together so you get the astrological number 2. And 2 is a really lovely, more feminine year and a little less abrasive than what we experienced in 2017. So there's your little horoscope with that. I love you guys. I will talk with you soon. Thank you. Love y'all.